What's up, everybody? It's Alex from Heavy New York. We are at the Music Hall of Williamsburg. Nails is killing it right now, and today we are here with the one and only Misery Index. Thank you all for being here.
Yeah, man.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's so awesome to have you guys here. Rituals of Power is absolutely awesome, your latest record. You guys want to give like a brief rundown on how the making of the record was?
Whew. Well, it was years in the making, as always with us. We're all in different states, different countries at this point. So the writing process is a little bit slower now, and we're all busy. Have the everyday life thing going. Jobs and kids, and not me, but Mark has 2 kids, and so it's not as easy to
Not me.
Yeah, not me.
I swear.
Maybe one day. Maybe one day. We'll see. My girl's cool, so we might have kids. You never know. But, so it's just, 5 years in between Killing Gods and Rituals of Power. So,
Yeah, time flies.
it was just a lot of sending riffs and songs back and forth to each other and, really honing in on the toughness that we wanted to portray on this one. So it was, for not really rehearsing too much of it all together, it turned out tough as nails.
Oh, no
Not the
pun
band.
intended.
Not the band.
What I was curious is, do you guys have a formula that you tend to stick with the making of each record, or has the making of every record been a new approach in its own experience?
Well, the making of the last 2 records were kind of similar in that about 6 or 7 years ago, we all kind of moved apart geographically. So we had to kind of move towards a new system where we write individually and share files online, and periodically meet up and go over the files and give feedback on them and move things around and change things. And it's just it's just kind of like slow attrition of like writing, and it eventually culminates in like the final songs we have that end up on the record. It just takes time, but it started with the Killing Gods, I guess, and then with Rituals of Power, it's continued. So it's been about 6 years now we've been working that way.
You guys need a European member. Just spread it out even further, right?
Yeah. Well, Jason lives in Europe, so he's a European member.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I've noticed with this record is that it's consistently brutal. Like I feel like this record pulls no punches at all. So, with the making of each song, does it get a little bit easier? Like being that you guys kind of have like a flow that you go through.
Well, that's the thing with it's never like a conscious effort, like putting songs in order and just writing like, okay, this is going to be track 1 or this is track 2, and it's just like songs just start coming together, and then once you have everything as a whole, then you like kind of pick and choose like, all right, what order you want the songs to be in, and the different vibes, and it's always funny because you almost don't even realize, like you'll write one song and just kind of put it on the back burner, and then 2 months later you'll come back and revisit it and be like, oh damn, this song is sick, like I can't wait. Yeah, and it's fun, it's like writing new music for us is like one of the funner things about being in a band, and at least for me. I don't know, but
You never know, the song you crop out could be on like a B-side record and just be the biggest hit.
yeah, there's always a song that I don't want to record for some reason, and I want to like cut it from the record, but it turns out
Usually
being
my
like,
songs.
it usually and it turns out being like a really fun, awesome, like
What is
necessary song, to have on the record, to break things up, like from all the blasting, and there's a lot of people said there wasn't that much blast on the record, but there's some blast on that record. You better listen to it again.
Absolutely.
Sit around,
Yeah.
sniff it out here and there.
Yeah.
I listened to it like 6 times in order to conduct the review of it.
And yeah, it wasn't like we're not going to have blast beats on certain songs, but some songs you don't need a blast beat just to be heavy. I mean, it's like people need to get over that shit, dude. It's, pardon my French, but fuck you. No. It's just like, if you just like do the blast just for the sake of like, oh, we're just going to blast over this riff, we'll blast over that riff. Blast beat's a blast beat.
Absolutely.
To quote J.R. Hayes from Pig Destroyer, he said, "Any asshole can do a blast beat, but who does it right?"
There you go. Just like screaming. Anybody could scream, but there's a right way to scream.
Yeah, and tastefully do it. You know.
Absolutely.
Anyways, I've had a couple drinks, so sorry if I'm just cursing.
Absolutely. I don't care. Cursing is required on this channel.
Cursing is required.
Yeah. Screw monetization.
And I didn't mean to say fuck you. I'm sorry.
Now, when you guys are executing this material live, do you try to like execute it exactly how people hear it on the album, or is there kind of like any improvising involved? Do you like to maybe make the live presence a little bit more different than what people would experience from listening to the album?
You want to grab that one? I don't think we think about it too much. I don't. The first thing we do is think about writing good songs, you know, and that's and we record and we get a sound we like, and then you know there's that representation of the song on the record, the recorded version of the song, and how it comes out live is how it comes out live. It's just something that you know, we all meet up, you know, and sometimes we rehearse for a tour. And that's the version it is live. It's you know, it's not something we dwell on too much.
I think some songs you think go over better in like the live setting, but then you start playing it and you like slowly realize that like maybe that song doesn't really work out live so well, you know. So it's hard to like pick and choose, you know, which songs you want to like learn and get down for a tour when we have such like, you know, there's so many songs that we like pretty much have to play for each set. You know, it's like the hits. So once you get the hits in there, you have like that takes up almost like 30 minutes. So like on this tour, it's like, all right, so what are going to be the oddball songs that you throw in? You know, and it's always hard to decide those, and you know, what we might like, you know, doesn't translate live as well as we think, and then it's like, all right, well, drop that song, and you know.
I'd imagine it changes from venue to venue too when you have to
venue and club show to festival show is a very important thing, because you know when you play like the big festival stages over in Europe or you know wherever, it's like, you know, sometimes the more driving songs, you know, with less, you know, fast, you know, double bass and grindy stuff doesn't really like translate that well over the, you know, the big PAs at those festivals, and like it gets lost in the mix kind of, you know. So it's
I was curious to how Napalm Death would have sounded on like the Slayer dates that they did when they're playing like arenas and stuff. Like,
well, Napalm Death can do whatever the hell Napalm Death wants to do, because it's Napalm Death, and you know, they're just gonna do it, you know.
Exactly. And I have a
shout out Napalm Death.
Hell yeah. Shout out to Barney. Now, I have two more questions for you guys. One thing I'm curious about is there a meaning that you try to convey to your listeners behind your music, or can like a listener listen to your music and maybe it's open to interpretation? They could kind of take it into their own.
It's very much open to interpretation. We don't have any kind of political agenda. We have lyrics and imagery which are real world based and reality based, but they're not meant to be some kind of proselytizing kind of thing, you know, where we're like trying to push an agenda. If anything, it's like no agenda. It's just calling attention to, you know, the problems, a lot of problems in everyday life that help us when we're singing and screaming, and we have, you know, some substance to our lyrics that makes them more meaningful. So a lot of them do reflect our personal views, and we don't want to be preachy about it or anything, but they're there if someone's interested and wants to read deeper into them, and you know, we use a lot of allegory and metaphor in the lyrics and stuff. So if someone wants to interpret them however they want to, that's the idea.
Do you need to hear the music to come up with these meanings, or does the meaning behind the music determine like the outcome of the whole song?
More than often, the music's always written before the lyrics. You know, when I write songs, I always have the lyrics in mind. In fact, that's the main thing I'm thinking about, is how the lyrics would add to it and give it a real punch. But usually the music's written and the lyrics get added to it later, and that's when you have a blank slate to kind of like, you know, write some whatever poetry over this shit, and try and express yourself in whatever way. And
Nothing could be more heartbreaking than having the perfect set of lyrics and seeing how they go like one syllable over the actual arrangement.
I mean, we're growling this stuff and screaming. A lot of us, we try to enunciate, to the point that it sounds good, and when we record them. But in the end, it's like if someone's interested in lyrics, they're gonna have to read them and like go into them and interpret them on their own. So it's not necessarily kind of like.
Yeah, it's better to read the lyrics, without listening to the song and kind of really absorb it. And,
Yes.
Dr. Netherton over here is going to throw a bunch of words at you that you don't know. So you're going to have to get out the dictionary. You're going to have to figure out what the hell
like
that
an old
shit
Carcass
means.
record, you have to get out the dictionary and figure out what descanting the insalubrious means.
Exactly.
Exactly. So before we go, I'd like to thank you guys so much for your time today. Killer show tonight. Is there just anything else with Misery Index that you would like to promote in terms of shows or tours? This will be uploaded by midnight, so if it hasn't been announced yet, please don't say it.
We're gonna do 2 weeks from now. We're gonna be in Europe. We're gonna do 2 weeks over there, and we're gonna be doing some festivals and club shows. And we have more videos coming later in the year. We have another video for Hammering the Nails coming. We did a tour documentary from this recent tour we did with Worm Rot.
Worm Rot.
Aren't they from Singapore? those guys?
Singapore.
Yep.
Yeah, they're
Exactly.
sick as fuck.
Great guys.
Thank you.
Very humble, and very
Special.
inspiring to us. And that'll be coming out later this year. And we don't have any dates after this European stuff, but we are working on something for October in the U.S., I think. And if anything pops up, we might do it. So
Yeah, there's like a tour. I think we might do a tour with Hoobastank and Limp Bizkit.
I love those bands.
It's going to be an arena tour. So be on the lookout for that. Announcement
Yeah.
should be coming soon.
it's kind of a buy-on. We're saving the money now to.
Yeah, we're going to buy on and like finally do it right. You know what I mean? So it's going to be sick.
We're going to
Hoobas-
hire a hype guy to DJ and try to make it work in that world.
They are the reason I am no longer running away or crawling in the dark, and I will never be here again. All right, I earned myself a couple.
Whoa, dude, you know too much Hoobastank.
Hey, man, that band will forever be able to headline our arenas just because of that one song.
Hooba Pow.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
One day you'll get to play drums with him.
That's my goal, is one day to play drums for Hoobastank.
like Jim Carrey said about Napalm Death, someday this guy's going to want to slow down and do some duets.
Yeah, you know.
But thank you guys so much. Everybody, we are here with Misery Index. Be sure to pick up Rituals of Power out on Season of Mist if you haven't already. This is Alex from Heavy New York. We will see you next time.
Cheers, mate.